It is currently 4:30 a.m. and I've been trying to get more sleep lately, but when I go to bed earlier, I just wake up earlier. Like there's a certain amount of time and sleep that my body wants and needs. So in this video, I want to talk about how I got to where I'm at today. Not that it's anything special or out of the ordinary, but starting in 2009, small town Pennsylvania, to currently 2016, South Korea. How did I get here? So some workouts that we really enjoy doing during PT sometimes are every minute on the minute workouts. So like for example, in 10 minutes, every minute on the minute you do an exercise for a certain amount of repetitions, whether that be like 20 overhead presses with sandbags every minute on the minute, or like a circuit of like 10 body squats, 5 burpees, 5 pull-ups, and then you have the rest of the minute to rest. So you do it as fast as possible. I guess my journey really started when I was in high school. Before going to college, it was never like a dream of mine to join the military or own my own business. I came from like a pretty traditional family and area where everyone went to high school, went to college, got a job in the civilian sector, and then started a family. And I was always like confused about what I really wanted to do or what my passion was. And I would like get interested in a few things here and there, but there was never something that was like solidified that this is what I want to do, this is what I want to gear my life towards and put everything into. I guess you could say I kind of just fell into the rhythm of where I'm at right now. There was never a plan to end up right here. But one of the decisions that really facilitated everything else happening was deciding to apply for the ROTC scholarship, joining the military, and then commissioning upon graduating college. So today's workout was legs, which I've been training more frequently in an attempt to grow them, and I've been seeing pretty dramatic results. One thing I really want to share with you guys that I picked up from one of Alberto Nunez's videos was a small little change to leg extensions that is making a huge difference. So as you can see, I've lightened the weight a little bit, and usually when I get to the top, I'll hold it for a contraction. What I'm doing a little bit differently in what he recommended, and which actually burns a lot more, is when you get to the top of the movement, think of lifting your entire quad off the pad. So as you can see, like as I get to the top, I pull the quad up and it activates so many more muscle fibers. And it really hurts, but it feels good. So extensions, curls, squats, leg press, and then calves, high volume. I've been trying to go a lot more high volume, and I'm experimenting a little bit, kind of using like principles of the squat everyday approach, where you just hit high volume, and in the beginning it's gonna hurt, you're gonna feel a little broke off and taxed, but then your body adapts to it. So I've been incorporating a lot more volume. In the first like 2-3 weeks I was doing it, I was feeling a little bit burnt out and run down, but now I feel like absolutely amazing. And the bulk growing season has been a success so far. But kind of getting into my path and journey once again. So it wasn't until like college that I became really interested in lifting and nutrition and supplements. And I was actually a nutrition major. To tell you the truth, I don't know how I got to the point of choosing nutrition as my major. In high school, it didn't have too much interest in me, and I selected it, and it's kind of something that just worked out in my favor. I kind of just fell in love with it as I continued to study it when I was an undergrad. And then it was between junior and senior year of college, I started my supplement company, just with a small loan that I took out, a pre-commissioning loan that we got while we were in ROTC. And this entire time I was doing ROTC, and I get a lot of questions about ROTC and kind of the commitment and the obligation. See, I never wanted to do West Point or a military academy because I wanted some sort of college experience, and that's why I chose ROTC, which isn't a huge commitment while you're in school. I mean, some of my buddies did ROTC, they were in the National Guard, they worked a part-time job, and they still went out with us Thursday through Sunday in college, like most college students probably do, or at least when I was in college I did. Definitely had my fun. But really the only commitment you have is you do PT 3 times a week at 6 a.m., and then you have one lab that's 2 hours on Thursdays for us, and then 1 to 2 classes a week. Now there's random things you're gonna do once in a while on the weekends or after work just to kind of participate and support the university, if your university does have an ROTC program. And if you're in college right now and you see students walking around in a military uniform with some made up rank, those are ROTC cadets. That was me in college. But when I was finishing up ROTC, I got active duty. I almost actually changed it to the National Guard route because I wanted to kind of put all my time into my company. but my battalion commander did not let me in. Thank God he made that decision for me. Alright, so just got off work. This video is really being geared around a Q&A that I posted on Instagram. So I'm going into G-Hang right now. I'm going to grab dinner. I haven't had Korean barbecue in probably months, probably before we went to Gunnery this past summer. And then I'll finish with the questions. Can I please get 2 of the salt broiled pork, please? And then can I get a side of rice, please?
Rice?
Yes, rice, please. And that's it.
That's it?
Yep. Thank you. So I've been to this place before, and they remembered me. I'm sure the camera kind of gives it away. So I essentially ordered 2 pork chops, rice, and then it comes with a bunch of sides. I don't know how to explain this. It's like a almost like a bean salad with a red something paste. It's spicy. You can tell it's going to clear you out, but it's good. And then this is how you assemble it. It's almost like a taco, or what I think to be a taco. It's like some green, some rice, some beef, and then some red chili paste. So then after graduating college, I moved to Fort Benning, Georgia, because I ended up branching active duty infantry. I did the infantry officer basic course there. I did airborne school, ranger school. And then if you graduate ranger school and you're still there, you pretty much get whatever course date you want after that, or then you go to your unit. So I was waiting on one course date for, it was like a few weeks or a few short months. But this is when I ended up adopting Leroy from the pound, which was one of the most immature decisions I've ever made in my life. I don't recommend being a single service member in the military and adopting a dog. It didn't work out for multiple reasons. Like, he destroyed the apartment I was living in at Fort Benning. Even though like we were gone in the field a lot and I was at ranger school for 120 days, when we had weekends off, I was like 3 hours from Savannah, 3 hours from Destin, 3 hours from Pensacola. Like, we did a bunch of traveling and exploring, and I got to see like that part of the United States, which is really cool. But I enjoyed my time at Fort Benning. And then I got to Texas, and Texas was like the game changer because I was finally like settled down somewhere. Being in training for a year plus, there's no like structure. It was really hard to run my business, like extremely hard to run Bear Performance Nutrition when I was in ranger school and in the field all the time. And there just wasn't much progress with the business because of that. So that's kind of why the business struggled for like the first 3 years. And then when I got to Texas, I put more time and effort into it and just work on growing the company. It started to really grow. But I fell in love with Austin and everything about like Central Texas area, and that's why I'm like staying there when I get out of the military. And I started my platoon leader time there. Texas was just like a emotional, significant event in my life. And then Texas is also where I started my YouTube channel. So like the month I got there, October of 2014, I started doing YouTube videos because like I didn't know anyone. I was bored. My unit was forward deployed somewhere else. So I was like waiting for them to get back. And like off a brain topic real quick, when I was a freshman and sophomore in college, I wanted to get into the supplement industry and the fitness industry. So I was like contacting brands left and right. I was like, I will wrap my car in your logo. I will set up booths at like my college gym with your products. And no one responded to me. So like at one point I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna start my own company. But the reason no one contacted me back is I didn't have any leverage. So I didn't have any social reach. I wasn't a social influencer. So I had no leverage when I was trying to get sponsorships. And then I started a company with no leverage, and that's kind of why it didn't grow. Just leverage is huge. So then here I am, 2016, South Korea, for less than 2 more months with my unit. And everyone keeps asking, like, what does your future look like? What do you want to do in the future? And you guys are like already seeing it. The gym opens up here in March. We'll be moving in November. And it's crazy because this morning I was FaceTiming my brother, and we were looking at samples for the flooring, rubber flooring for the gym, which means it's close. And then people are like, how are you gonna keep making content because you're not in the military anymore and that's kind of your niche? I am not afraid of not being able to make content. I will have 2 or 3 times as much free time as I do now. I will be in Austin. I will have a vehicle to drive around. I won't have any restrictions or limitations of being on post. The content will stay fresh. But one thing I do want to let you guys know is that Bear Performance Nutrition just released our new pump product yesterday. And if you're wondering what a pump product is or what it does, check this out.
The greatest feeling you can get in a gym, or the most satisfying feeling you can get in the gym, is the pump. Let's say you train your biceps. Blood is rushing into your muscles, and that's what we call the pump. Your muscles get a really tight feeling, like your skin is going to explode any minute. You know, it's really tight. It's like somebody blowing air into your muscle. It just blows up, and it feels different. It feels fantastic.
All right, guys. So the last thing I really want to touch on is one of the questions that was in the Q&A from Gina. What's one thing you tell your future self, or would tell your future self, that you now know that you didn't know before? So, like, believe it or not, when I first started YouTube, I was afraid to vlog in public. Like, I would stay in my apartment and do videos, but I wasn't really comfortable going out and vlogging. And if there's one thing that I could tell my future self that I now know, it would be, don't let the opinions of others persuade the things that you want to do. And that's one thing that if I really just think about it, it really makes a difference. And it kind of reminds me of the first time I've ever been trolled. So I was in college, and I went on the bodybuilding.com forums, and I was going to share my overnight oats recipe, or like a modified version of it. So like, I posted on the forum, and I was like, man, everyone's gonna love this. They're gonna find it very helpful and enjoyable. So like, I posted. The next morning I wake up, I go check out the recipe that I posted, and it just got absolutely trolled because I didn't have like the macro information. It just got torn apart. But who cares? That's kind of the message. Agreed? Hell yeah.